Hello, my name is Alex Lindsay with RPI Consultants, and welcome to another video highlighting ImageNow functionality. Today we're going to be talking about Import Agent and how to bring documents, already electronic documents, into Perceptive Content or ImageNow, as you guys may call it. So the first thing we're going to do is, first off, make sure that it's licensed. It is a separately licensed product. You'd notice here you have the service account here as well. If you require something that's maybe more complex than what we're going to show here, Script can always do this as well, and you're more than welcome to reach out to us to talk about any needs you have there. So before we start, first off, make sure that the service is stopped. You can see here that we have it stopped. The next thing we're going to do is navigate to your in-server and etc directory and locate the in-server IMP INI file. And we're going to open that up to edit it. So the first thing you'll notice within this file, we kind of highlight the different methods in which you can import. There's index file, combo, key mapping, and these all have really good descriptions. Index file, for instance, is where we import the image document along with an associated index file to get the metadata associated with it. That can be a one-to-one, where one document and one index file, or multiple documents and one index file. TIFF text combo, file name, which we're going to demonstrate today. Data capture, so if you have the data capture tool, you can do that along with import agent. DoD record and DoD XML, if you have DoD requirements there, as well as capture profile if you need to do something slightly more complex. Today we're just going to be highlighting how to set up import agent for a file name method. So the first thing we're going to do is scroll down. There's basically three areas that we need to configure within the solution. First off here, there's the import.mode. We're going to set that to file name here. You can use, this is basically where you choose the particular method in which you're going to import. Make sure that the directory is set up and configured here. It's going to require, and if we pull this up here, it's going to require a complete and a failed. You can rename these if you like, if it makes a little bit more sense. But essentially make sure that this directory exists before or after you do this configuration. And the other neat thing that you can do here is send it to a workflow queue. Instead of just importing directly into the system, you can send it into a workflow process. More often than not, if you're importing PDF or Word documents, things like that, you'll send it to the InMac or the file conversion component to be converted to a TIFF. For our instances here today, we are just going to send it to an AP header entry queue just to demonstrate that. So once you have that configured, let's go ahead and navigate down to our actual file name import method below. You can see here we have file name. The section in green here that's commented out, this will kind of give you an idea of how we're going to provide the indexing for this. Essentially all the metadata that we need in our example for this document to assign the field 1, field 2, field 3 for instance, is going to be in the file name itself, and I'll demonstrate that here in a second. So our extensions are going to be TIFFs, which is where you configure that here, and then the file name. So in our file, if I pull this up very quickly, we basically have three images here that we're going to import. We have 200, which is the company number, the vendor ID, and the invoice number. For our example, that is going to be field 1, field 2, and field 3. So we're going to go ahead and configure that here. And the other important part of this is the delimiter. So how are we separating those values in the file name itself? For us, based on the application that we generated these files from, it was carets was the easiest way to get that delimiter. So we're going to configure that. If you'd like to do multi-doc mode or multi-page TIFFs, you can configure that here as well. For our purposes here, we're just going to leave it as one document. And then the final area we need to configure is the key mapping section. So if we navigate down further to our key mapping, you can see here, you notice that to create any type of document within ImageNow, you have to have a drawer value, a doc type value, and at least one index value configured. So for us, our doc type is going to be invoice. So this is where you configure this here. Make sure that this doc type does actually exist within perceptive content, or else it will fail. It won't be able to find the associated doc type. Same thing goes for drawer as well. And if the index is provided within one of the methods, so index file or file name, you can go ahead and put this section here, this index provided, into the configuration. We're also going to do date time stamp here as well, just so we can track when the document was actually imported into the system. And then we're also going to assign a unique ID into field 5 because it's just kind of a best practice. Once you have that, save the INI file, navigate to your services, and start import agent. So at this point, everything should be ready for you to import the documents. So what we're going to do here is take a copy of these 3 invoices here, navigate to our import folder, we're going to paste them in. Give it a quick second here. And you can see now that they have been imported. If they failed, you'd know pretty easily that they went to the failed directory. For this purposes here, they've gone into the complete folder. And to verify the results, you remember we sent that to the AP header entry queue. I'm going to go back to this queue. I'm already on the queue itself. I'm going to refresh the workflow view. You can see here that we've imported those 3 invoices here. We have company number, invoice number, and vendor ID on the documents itself, as well as the date timestamp that's been mapped to field 4 and our unique ID. That concludes this demonstration of Import Agent. If you have any other questions about this, please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Thank you very much.